to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shinry, here at Everything Anime Podcast, covering from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and a real long topic I talk about. Today's video is on Dr. Stone, chapters 205 to 210. Not sure what I'm going to title it just yet. Oh, right, the Pseudo suicide mission. Because where this chapter ends is kind of mouth-dropping and mind-blowing. As all of Dr. Stone chapters have been, honestly. Let's just say it how it is. All of Dr. Stone has been mind-boggling and mind-blowing. Sorry, I'm messing with my band. Anyways, where we last left off, our crew had went to Barcelona/Spain. There revived a few people there. We got fluorite. We got our hands on it. We made olive oil. We revived some people in Spain. You know, we helped build our culture back up. We built churros. Pretty cool. Then we went off to India to find a mathematician, someone that could help us, figure out calculations and complicated math to help us get this rocket to space. The mathematician we decided to find was, or turned out to be, Ryusei's older brother, Sai, who is a mathematician. In India, we found out, is known as Math City because they've learned the timetables through the double digits, which is pretty cool. Anyways, his brother is a natural prodigy when it comes to math. Like, timetables, math, it comes to him easily. He can, where Senku has to think for a second and Zeno has to, think for a second. I can't do how Zeno does his things with it. I guess it's like that. What, you know how they both do their thing. Sai is just like, this is the answer like this. Everyone is blown away. Even Gen himself, who is a mentalist. Gen, smart as Senku, but, had this trick that he's a mentalist. Even he's blown away with how smart Sai is. Like, Sai, it's just showing and not telling, just how smart Sai is. Kawaku, hilariously, is already lost, because we know Kawaku, she's, more of an instinct kind of person. But she's blown away. But it's just funny, always getting the characters' reactions in the background. And Chrome is, bless his heart, favorite character. Chrome is still trying to figure it out, but Chrome is also smart. Chrome is a scientist from this time, but Chrome would have got the answer eventually too. It's just that Sai got it immediately. Gen was blown away. Kawaku was just confused, and Chrome was getting there, While Senku says that math takes time, all of which Senku says math takes time to figure out, which is why Senku does that. But again, it's just hilarious that it took Sai but a second glance to figure out what the number is, and that's just because again he's naturally good at math. I also love that Ryusei, as a baby, his first word was desire. He heard Sai as a kid solve a math problem, and he was like, the desire.
Ma?
Yes, Ma and her career are just... Did you say Mom?
Mama.
Oh my God! You said Mama! Well, can you say Dad? Or Dada?
Mommy.
That's great! You're doing great! But come on, say Dada. Dada?
Mother.
Stupid, hilarious. But I get it fits Ryu's personality. But despite that Sai is great at math, he only desires to code and make and play video games. He specifically in this one panel is talking about video games, but he's really talking about coding. That's what he wants to do. He wants to be a coder. And I can understand that. You might be naturally good at something, but you have a passion for something else. There's something else you love. I can't say I was ever particularly great at one thing. Not particularly, but I do love to tell stories. Telling stories is something I do for fun, which is why you guys know I'm the author of the Shinry series. Check out my books on Amazon if you haven't already. This is one of the thicker ones, but just showing off. But because his younger brother kept trying to force him to do what he wanted, Ryusei, which was math, and because he was a natural instead of doing what he loved with coding and video games, Sai decided to run away. He ran away from Ryusei. He was like, "Stop trying to make me do what you want me to do. I'm not a robot. I'm not your toy." So Sai kind of ran away from his brother, not understanding that we learned something later, but he wasn't understanding what Ryusei really wanted. He just saw Ryusei seeing him as a tool. His passion to code is because he wants to program a video game of his own. He wants to create a video game that people will love and that he thinks is fun, which is pretty cool. I really think that's really dope. However, since the world is once again in the Stone Age, there is no internet, so like he can't code even if he wanted to. Again, we are 3,700 years into the future that has been reset. All the world was turned to stone, so he's lost access to the internet. He's lost access to like a computer or our modern day computer. They eventually will build something like that. So he's like kind of depressed. He's like, oh man, what am I gonna do myself with this Stone Age? Like, you know. Obviously, said he wanted me to do math, and I could do that. Like, I don't need a computer for that. But, well, that's getting ahead of myself. But he can't do what he loves. He feels defeated until we remind him that if he helps us, we can restore humanity back to the way it was. But first, we need to get to the moon and take down the Y-Man. And to do that, we need his help. We need the help of a mathematician to get the calculations correct for the spaceship to get to the moon. Because even if we ignore the Y-Man again, like if we just try to ignore him, which we did the first time, after the why, he sent that second message 1 second the whole diameter of Earth. He was waiting for our message to go off near a Medusa weapon to repetrify us all. And then he did do it. It went off. And then he found out we're still alive. He's like, do you want to die? So he's going to either be making more Medusa weapons to get ready to rain them down. He is going to send more weapons after us. And we need to be able to stop him before that happens. So that's why it's like, all right, Sai, we need your help, like badly. And so Sai gets to work with this incredible panel. I mean, it takes some more convincing, but ultimately they get Sai convinced. But he's not just making any old code. It's a code for a video game he wants to create called Dragon Quest. Now, I have a friend that codes. His name is Mark. He's a very incredible friend of mine. I don't know much about coding. I know my brother Kwame also wants to get into coding, but the way that this panel is drawn, the way this author draws these things, and it's just a really, again, so great. It's really creative and really amazing. I'll make sure I show all these panels. And so with the help of Sai, our next objective is to create a computer. And I can only imagine what this is going to look like. Like the first time Shinry said we're going to build a telephone or a cell phone, and it was a cool cell phone, no doubt. But I was like, it's crazy. So I imagine in my head, like when we finally get the computer, like what's it going to look like? Is it going to be like some kind of like, you know, AOL's, you know, dial-up computer? I mean, I don't know how we're going to get dial-up, but like that's what I'm imagining. We're not going to have a modern-day computer that fast. We're going to build, you know, a small computer from scratch, and then we'll get to the modern-day one eventually. Back in Corn City, we can see that Yuzu has kept her mind focused while petrified, knowing Senku and the others were coming back to save them. And that's when Team Taiju arrives. So the rest of our Kingdom of Science, I went to Corn City, when the light petrified all of humanity, they weren't auto-revived by Sukiya and Senku. They were still waiting to be revived. And that's where Team Taiju went back there to revive them. And I love that Yuzu was just thinking about Taiju. She's like, I know your God is going to come and save us. So for 7 years, that's what she did. She kept her mind active and thinking. And I'm like, how exhausting must that have been to keep your mind that, like, you know, mentally prepared. But again, we know our Kingdom of Science is dedicated. Thanks to their help, everyone in North America is revived. And of course, Yuzu and Taiju get this touching and heartwarming reunion where they get to hug each other. I really love that he made a panel of Taiju and Yuzu hugging each other because they got separated whenever we left for Africa. And Taiju was like, hell yeah, goodbye everybody. I really love that Taiju and Yuzu got a panel together. Luna, meanwhile, spills in everybody what's going on, and then we're back to the same side. So, you know, because we know there was an all-out war once Joel had figured out how to replicate the Medusa weapon and activate it. You know, Dr. Brody and his team were like, hey, it's all-out war right now. But now we're like, hey, the Y-Man got us again. We need to work together. And so they're like, all right, yeah, you're right, we're cool. No more fighting, no more infighting. They're all shocked to see that Senku is planning to create a computer in the Stone Age, which again, yes, even I'm surprised. All of us would be shocked. The first time we heard about telephone, when we heard, I mean, everything Dr. Stone has done since Dr. Stone Manga has started, since the anime has started, has blown me away myself. So even I'm excited when these characters are excited and blown away. Like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to have a computer in this modern day? I mean, in this new Stone Age? But even as smart as Sai is, he can't figure out how Senku plans to do that. And honestly, again, as I've been saying, neither can I. I have no idea how Senku is going to create a computer in this day and age. And yes, I'm at chapter 210, exactly where this chapter ends, but we have not built the computer I was thinking we're going to build. They go on to do this flag thing, which kind of gives me Mario Party Shy Guy flashbacks. I didn't really understand what's going on. They do explain it. But if you ever played Mario Party 1 and you know the Shy Guy game where you have to hold up the flag and then he kind of confuses you, I'm going to show some clips of that.
car.
Well, the computer Senku made is called Parametron. I'm probably saying that name wrong. And though I feel like I've seen it, I have no idea how it works. I feel like I have seen this before, but I'm not exactly sure how it works just yet. Well, specifically, it's used to create an adder circuit, which again, I have no idea what that is, but I'm just explaining like how it's explained to me and talking to you guys do it, but he creates an adder circuit. But in short, by creating more of these and combining them together, we can eventually create a modern day computer, which again, knowing Senku, it's not going to be like a modern day computer. It's going to be like a computer that works, but not in the sense that we're thinking like that we have modern day, or even like laptops, you know what I mean? It might be like eventually like something like that dial-up computer by the time we probably make a computer, it's going to be like a dial-up. Somehow we're going to make a dial-up computer. That's what I'm imagining. But our first specific stop is to create a game console, which we know Sai loves, and technically is a computer. All of our video game systems, they are technically computers. Like, they run a software, they require updates and stuff like that. Anyways, but first, we need 200,000 of them. And that's why we're relying on people in Corn City to arrive 1 million people to make this process even faster. So these tiny things, although they're pretty simple to make, because, when Senku says, oh, this is all you need, oh, this is all we need to make, and it's very tiny. They're like, oh, that's easy. He's like, yeah, now we need 200,000 of those. I love that kind of humor, but again, it does make sense because a computer is going to need a lot of power and a lot of information to handle all that. So we have everyone hard at work, and in no time we have our level 1 computer, which is more than likely like Zeno, we're going to need a level 99 computer to get to a modern day, because right now we have a level 1 rocket engine that when we had last left Africa, and Zeno's like, it's powerful, but it's not going to get us to the moon. This is a level 1. So I was like, okay, this is a level 1 computer, and we're going to work our way up to a level 99. But now that we have an idea for our level 1 computer, we need to send that back to Corn City. So we are upgrading our original fax machine, which we made chapters ago. We made that fax machine, I think, like before the Kingdom of Petrification, somewhere in the 100 chapters. And we want to send a picture to them from India. We want to send this back to people in North America, be like, hey, this is the design we need y'all to do. Follow this diameter, follow these parameters and everything. We need 200,000 of those, and there's a lot more of you guys while we work on other stuff. And what's the first fax that gets sent so they can test this out? It's a group photo from Team Taiju and everyone in Corn City. I thought that was great, and I thought it was cute. I really liked that. Our first photograph was Senku mimicking not Edward Einstein. Oh, Edward Einstein. I think so. Well, him sticking his tongue out like that and Senku mimicking that. I really liked it. It's a group photo these. I feel like but ended up the is gonna be a museum, and it's gonna be all the stuff that they had to do from scratch in a museum. I think that'll be really cute. Sai, however, seems to be the only one bummed out by the group photos. Perhaps this has something to do with this past that's bothering him. Gen wants to get down to the bottom of it delicately, but before he can, Chelsea barges in is like, yo, what the hell is up?
What the hell is up? I went out on a limb for you and you just bailed? I'm not about...
I'm sorry, I bring it out clip, I had to add it there. Yeah, Chelsea, so when they do the group photo, Sai is left out. He's feeling kind of bummed, or he's like, man. And Gen is like, oh, there must be some kind of backstory there. There must be something about group photos, and we should handle this delicately. We don't want to trigger him. And Chelsea's like, yo, what the hell is up with you? Why are you bummed out by the group photo? It turns out that because he never got to take a family photo, nor with his brother Ryusei, it could be that their father had an affair, or perhaps a different lover, and he didn't want them in the family photos. That's what Chelsea's guessing at. She's like, oh, were you not allowed to be in family photos? Are you and Ryusei half brothers, half siblings, or something like that? I can see that being a trigger. That's what I had thought. However, the family did want Sai to focus on being a mathematician for his natural genius, and no one could control Ryusei. So the family was more trying to keep these guys focused. They were like, we can't control what Ryusei does, but Sai, you're way too smart. We want you to focus on being a mathematician. So yeah, they took family photos, but the only reason Sai wasn't in it because they kept pushing Sai towards school and focusing on math. Whereas Ryusei did whatever the hell he wanted. If Ryusei wanted to be in the group family photo, he was gonna be in the family photo. But though Ryusei was his brother, he saw himself as only being though Sai was Ryusei's brother, he saw himself only being exploited by not just Ryusei, but like the family, because again, they all were pushing him to do math. They weren't letting him do what he loved. And seeing the deeper good side that we've seen with Ryusei for nearly 100 chapters, I already knew there was some kind of twist to this. Ryusei isn't forcing you to do math. Yes, he says he desires things, but like we know Ryusei's character. We know who Ryusei is. So I knew there was a twist coming. But we can also see how this affected them both. And in a really great detail and drawing as always, you can see how like Sai was kind of depressed being always forced to do math, and Ryusei, even though he desired that from his brother, like he was also hurt that like Sai was like pushing him away and then eventually ran away from him. So you start to understand the picture here. But it's Gen and Chelsea who make Sai realize that yes, Ryusei wants anything and everything, but he also wants to spend time with his brother. Ryusei desires everything. He desires you, Sai. Not in that way. He desires Sai where like he wants your brain. He wants to spend time with you. I think, well, they do outright say it. Ryusei maybe thought like maybe because Sai was so good at math, that was something they could do together. Because Ryusei never said, hey, Sai, do this to me. He said, Sai, let's do this together. You know, the same thing I tell my brother. I don't tell my brother to watch One Piece. I say, hey, let's watch One Piece together. You know, you invite that person to do it with you because you want to spend time with them. You want to bond with them. You don't want to do like, hey, go watch this and leave me alone. You know, that's not what Ryusei was doing. He merely asked Ryusei to do it with them, and then Sai eventually realizes this, which I thought was really cool. In the end, Sai willingly joins his brother in a very heartfelt panel, and I loved it. I love that Sai realized that like his brother Ryusei wanted to spend time with him. That was the whole reason Ryusei kept bothering him and asking him to do things. Back in Corn City, the morale to make 200,000 donuts is driving the team crazy. So Gen proposes a tournament to win Dragos, which is the current currency. Like, so everybody's like, oh, we have to make 200,000 of these computer things. Man, I don't want to do that. So, you know, just like any other job, they boost your morale by like trying to make it fun. At first, Yo was like, no one will fall for that until he and Magma literally begin competing for it, which I thought was pretty funny because Magma, you know, he was also against like science and stuff like that, but he found fun in it, and especially with like a tournament going on. And so I love that Yo and him are always like, Yo and him are probably like best friends. They're like rivals. They're like Sanji and Zoro basically. Now, the next thing we need to build for our computer is memory. Almost like a memory card or a floppy disk that can store and save data. That's what a computer basically does. And so we need to build our computer up, our level 1 computer to a level 2 computer that can store that data. And to do that, can you guess what we need? Oh, only just 30 million more of those things. And I love Yuzu's expression. It's like, she's just like, oh yeah, in order to store and save data, we're gonna need 30 million. So we made 200,000, now we need 30 million. Fucking love that. But nothing is impossible for our Kingdom of Science, and they get it done, like, in no time. Really fucking love that. Give me 1 second, guys. What follows is a friendly competition between Sai, Senku, and Chrome. And the others guess that Sai or Senku will obviously be the winner of this, right? But there's actually a 4th hidden contestant. So they're all competing to figure out who can solve this, like, complicated math problem. Back in North America, though, we have a 4th contestant, and it's Magma. Now, I and the others are like, he's like the dumbest one of all the characters. He's not going to figure it out. But because Magma is this like 4th hidden character, and we know Magma's the dumbest, he's always going to win this, like somehow, some way. I knew something random and wild was going to happen, especially with this complicated of a math problem. Like, I'm going to show you the math problem on the screen that they give. And they're like, okay, which one of you guys can solve this answer? And again, Chrome is thinking about it slowly. Sai is a super mathematician, so he can figure this out in seconds. And Senku's doing this math thing. But someone answers the question first. And can you guess who that character is? If you guess Magma, you are right. And I don't know how yet, but because even as good as math as I am, I would have never got this correct. But Magma got it right. So I knew that something was coming. Well, that's because we've acquired a modern day giant calculator, and that it actually helped Magma figure it out. And I was like, that is incredible. That's a great fucking chapter. We've got a level 3 computer with this giant ass I mean, it's too big to be a normal calculator, but so it ain't gonna fit in a normal computer. But it is a giant calculator, giant computer, and it helped Magma solve this problem for anybody else, which just proves that like we are getting closer and closer to modern day. I really fucking love that. I love that Magma was the character that they used it for. Oh, also love that now we've acquired a calculator. We get a flashback to Ryusei opening his business, so now people got received. Oh no! Now that we have a calculator, Ryusei is like, okay, so our bank, Ryusei's bank that he opened up a while ago, he's like, now people can have direct deposit, and I was like, this is just fucking hilarious because like obviously our characters from the present know what direct deposit is, but these other characters don't. So Ryusei's like now like, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll store your Dragos in the bank. So once we get back to modern day society, you guys will basically be rich by the time modern society starts all over. You all will be rich. Fucking love Ryusei, like direct deposit. That was just a great gag towards the end. Now that we have everybody in Corn City working on the computer and reviving 1 million people, Zeno back in Africa still working on the rocket engine, and now that we've collected our mathematician, it's time to head to our final location and to get the final pieces for our rocket. Ugh. So we're going to our final city to establish. We are heading to Australia for aluminum. And guess what? It takes no time to find it at all because Australia's rocks is practically coated in it. I had no idea about this. Again, I don't know what this. But knowing this author and this writer and how accurate he's been with his story, I believe him that maybe all of Australia's rocks are covered in aluminum. That's a pretty cool fact, dope fact to learn. Again, something to bring up in your history class, maybe. But to mine this, we're gonna need many more people revived here in Australia, and as we did in Spain to get us to help. Now I don't remember if we revived people in India. I don't think we did. I think we'll revive Sai in India, and probably just Sai because we just need one mathematician. But either way, we were running low on food and our revival fluid, so we needed our trusted allies from America to come and deliver to us like DoorDash. These guys show up right on time with a new rocket engine on their ship, blasting straight to Australia. Now, Australia to Japan might not be... No, they were North America. Australia to North America... I mean, well, we were in Spain for a week, so it does make sense. And then we went to India, and now we're here in Australia. So that would have given them plenty of time to catch up to us. Especially... No, we were in Africa at that time, but they come from North America. Either way, they had plenty of time off screen to come catch up with us. And now we have a new one. Oh, they have a new and improved submarine, courteous of Zeno. That's right. Zeno had a submarine. But that's not all they brought with them. We now have a fully functioning Medusa weapon with us, which is the same one that petrified all of humanity a third time in Corn City. So we have, Joel gave us their Medusa weapon, and now we have it with us. So we can petrify any enemies that we might come across, or even the Y-Man himself once we get up to the moon. But that's when we learned something crazy. They're not taking the Medusa weapon with them to petrify the Y-Man. They're taking it with it to petrify themselves. Oh, they could, but they're taking it with them to petrify themselves because once they land on the moon, they will most likely not have a way to return to Earth until they are rescued. Therefore, the pilot, the warrior, and the scientist are risking their lives to save the entire world. Which right now, the pilot, the warrior, and the scientist, they're saying is definitely Senku. Pilot obviously has to be Ryusei. And the warrior, we're suspecting Hyoga or Tsukasa. But because that's already been said and we know how Dr. Stone works, that's probably going to change. But right now, I think it's Tsukasa. Now, the group doesn't have long to grieve over this realization because we still need to focus on getting to the moon and defeating the Y-Man. So Senku says we have everything we need to finally craft our rocket. Now, everybody else is like, they want to grieve. They want to, like, talk about this and think about this. You're talking about going to the moon, petrifying yourselves, and being stranded up there for years, for decades, for months. You don't even know because they haven't figured out a way to get back. They're like, we are going to make this rocket basically a one-way trip. Whatever three go to the moon, you're stuck there. You're going to have to petrify yourselves and be stuck turned to stone until eventually somebody comes to rescue us back from my day. Once we take down the Y-Man, and that's the reason I think they're going to petrify the Y-Man. If you want to help the world or revive themselves or get back to modern day while you guys are petrified on the moon, you're going to have to petrify the Y-Man so he doesn't re-petrify all of humanity while you're up there. And, you know, hope Zeno don't become a dictator. But that's how one of the arguments left behind Hyoga or whoever to stop him. And definitely don't bring back Stanley Steiner until the rest of the world's revived. But yeah, so they're like, yeah, whoever goes to the moon, it's basically a pseudo-suicide mission. Like, you're just going to be stuck there. And we're going to be stuck there until we're rescued. And who knows how long it's going to be. Because how long it took us to, like, even build this rocket ourselves. But again, Senku's like, we don't have time to think about that. We don't have time to grieve. We gotta get to work. Let's go build this rocket. But where are they gonna build this rocket? Well, now that we have fluorite, we have aluminum, and we have, what was the other thing we got? We went to, the mathematician. Now that we have the three things we need, and now we just have to finish the rocket ship, and Zeno is building the rocket engine. Where are we gonna build this? Obviously. It's time to head to our final destination to build the rocket. We've got the Spain, India, and Australia, but none of these stops have been what we need to combine all these things together. But one place does. It's our home base in Japan. That's right. We are finally going back to Ishigami Village. After, 200 chapters it feels like, we're going back to Ishigami Village. I was so happy about this. I was really excited. Because, we left Japan way back after the Kingdom of Petrification. We haven't been back to Japan itself, or Ishigami Village, that I can recall. Senku also decides that it can no longer risk abusing the power of the Medusa unless someone's dying, which Ryusei deduces that the Medusa weapon can bring people back from the dead from this, which is hilarious because he's just using his intuition. Only Tsukasa, Chrome, only Tsukasa, Senku, and Chrome know about this because Tsukasa and Senku were having a conversation about how Hyoga died, but he came back. And Kawako obviously would know this too because she knows that Hyoga died and he somehow survived. And we got that heartfelt message from Hyoga saying he loves everybody. I really love that. I love Hyoga's change of heart. But I love that Risa figured that out. But they also know that they just can't have anybody finding out about the Medusa weapon and then becoming another Irabara. Because once the world's revived and they know about the power of the Medusa weapon and they can petrify their enemies, people would abuse that immediately. Like, some side tangent. Me and my best friend Justin, we were talking about how time travel, they'll never release it to the public. The reason why they won't release time travel to the public, if all of us had the ability to time travel, we would all go back to the past and change something. Make ourselves richer, save the ones we love, talk to the people that we love, try something different, change. We would all change reality way too much. So we'll never all have the ability to time travel. But if time travel became something that you could buy or get your hands on, it will be abused and people will fight over it. The same thing with this Medusa weapon. If you could petrify your enemies or use that as a threat like Irabara did, disgusting. We can't let that happen. I love that Chrome is overanalyzing who's the three that's going to get picked to come back. Who's the three who won't get picked to come back or probably won't get to come back because obviously, the pilot, he knows it's going to be Ryusei and the warrior is going to be Hyoga or Tsukasa, which again, okay, early spoilers. I'm not going to spoil who it was. I spoiled for myself who the third person was because I was trying to find a cover photo and I saw who the third person is that's going to go to the moon and I was like, ugh, why did I Google search that? But I won't tell you who it is. And don't look it up. Let's find out together if you don't know who it is. Or we can still find out how it happened. But obviously, the scientist is going to be Senku or Zeno. So Chrome is like, man, I'm not going to be in the running. Like, I'm a scientist too, but I'm not smart as Chrome or Zeno. Why does that have to be them? And I love that Chrome is like, no, fuck that. I'm a contender to go to the moon too. I'm a scientist as well. I'm a scientist from this time. I would totally, and I'm going to say this now, I would totally vote for Chrome. I don't mind if Chrome is the one that goes to the moon, and then it's like, Chrome, Ryusei, Hyoga / Tsukasa or whoever the third person is. I wouldn't mind that because I know Chrome's going to be saved and Chrome's my favorite character. But Chrome has his own plan. He comes up with a second plan. He's like, you know what? If I can't go to the moon, I can at least create a return vessel. So whoever, while they're working on the main ship, to get to the moon, I'll work on a ship in secret with Asukia, and we're going to get them a return vessel. We're not going to let them go up to the moon alone and not have a way to get back down here. Like, we're defeating the Y-Man together. This is going to be a celebration for all of us. But they know they can't do it on their own despite they want to, especially with complex math involved. So they seek out Sai, Ryusei's brother, to teach them math from scratch. They're not telling Sai what their plan is. They're just like, Sai, please teach us math. Tell us everything you know from scratch. And I loved how this chapter ends. I was going to do this video separately about Chrome's secret mission. But I think it all just fits together because it's a pseudo-suicide mission. And that Chrome and Sukiya are doing this in secret. Not even with Sai knowing what their plan is. Really fucking love it. So again, what are your thoughts on this? The fact that Senku, Ryusei, and Tsukasa or Hyoga were going to go basically to the moon to stop the white man and then petrify themselves and be stuck out there for who knows how long on the moon. Yeah, they'd be together so they wouldn't feel alone, and yes, they would know their friends are on Earth working on a way to get them back down there. But that is a pseudo-suicide mission. I say pseudo because they're not going to die, but they could if no one ever gets to the moon and saves them. So really fucking amazing chapter. Again, I am now caught up in all of Dr. Stone, so we're going to go switch back over to Tokyo Ghoul and talk about that next. But anyways, this video might go up on the 4th of July, so it is. Happy 4th of July, guys. Very ironic that we're talking about going to the moon on the day of the 4th of July, and I would be wearing this shirt. But, yeah, I actually had a different video planned out for this 4th of July, but it's not going to be done in time, I don't think, so I'm just going to move it back to my original day I had planned in November. You guys will see what it is when we get there. Or maybe I'll drop it before that. We'll know. Y'all know I do things when I feel like doing it. I don't do it based off anything else. I do when I feel like doing it. But anyways, I want to drop this video out. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces a choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red Will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.